The metal hallway echoed with every step as Eric Hale walked forward, escorted by two tall blue-skinned alien guards. The ship around him hummed with a deep, steady vibration, like a living creature breathing in the dark. Eric had never been this far away from Earth before. In fact, no human had ever been inside an alien ship like this. But here he was alone, unarmed, and completely unsure why the aliens had brought him aboard. The guards said nothing. They only nodded toward him occasionally, their large silver eyes watching him closely. They were from a species humanity barely knew, the Avelar, known for their technology and mystery. No human knew what they wanted, what they believed, or why they had suddenly requested one man. Just one, Eric Hale. Eric kept walking, trying to hide the tight feeling in his chest. He wasn't a soldier or a leader. He wasn't a scientist or a diplomat. He was a simple man, someone who liked books, teaching, and quiet evenings. So why him? Why had a massive alien starship come all the way to Earth's border, asking for him by name? He tried to ask the guards earlier, but they only answered with the same phrase in careful English. "You are needed." Eric didn't know whether to feel honored or terrified. The hallway opened into a wide chamber, glowing with soft white lights. The walls were curved and smooth, covered with strange symbols and flowing lines of blue energy. Everything looked advanced, beautiful, and completely alien. A large door slid open in front of him, releasing a faint hiss of cold air. One of the guards gestured. "Enter." Eric took a breath and stepped inside. The room was quiet, almost too quiet. There was a circular table in the center, a tall window, showing the stars outside, and a strange humming sound coming from the walls. Eric felt as if the ship was watching him, studying him with invisible eyes. For a few long seconds, he stood alone. Then the back door opened. A figure stepped forward, tall, elegant, and glowing faintly under the lights. Her skin was a deep blue, her hair long and white like starlight. She wore simple dark clothing, but she moved with the confidence of someone important. Her eyes, bright silver, focused on Eric with calm intensity. She introduced herself in a soft, controlled voice. "I am Cerise of the Avelar Council." Eric nodded, trying not to stare. Cerise had an expression that was hard to read, half curiosity, half caution. "You must be wondering why you are here," she said. "That would be an understatement," Eric replied, feeling his voice echo slightly in the quiet room. Cerise studied him for a moment, as if checking his reaction or testing his honesty. "We searched for someone who carries a quality rare in our world," she finally said. "Someone who understands teaching." Eric blinked. Of all the things he expected to hear, teaching was not on the list. "You brought me here to teach?" Cerise didn't answer immediately. Instead, she walked around the table, her steps silent. "Your species," she said slowly, "is driven by curiosity, creativity, emotion. You guide your young with stories, mistakes, dreams. This is something the Avelar struggle with." Eric frowned. "Why tell me this? What do you want me to do?" Cerise turned toward him again, her silver eyes intense. "Because one child on this ship faces a challenge that none of our teachers can solve. And she has asked for something we do not understand." Eric felt his heartbeat quicken. What did she ask for? Cerise stepped closer, her tone serious. She asked for a human. The words hung in the air like a weight. Eric opened his mouth, then closed it again. A child? An alien child wanted him. But why? He didn't know any aliens. He had never met one until now. Before he could speak again, the ship suddenly trembled deep and loud. The lights flickered. Eric grabbed the table to steady himself. Cerise didn't move, but her eyes narrowed. The guards rushed into the room. "Counselor Cerise," one said quickly. "We are passing through unstable space." Cerise nodded. "Continue. I will join the child shortly." The ship quieted again, leaving a sense of unease hanging in the room. Eric swallowed hard. What am I supposed to do here? Cerise looked at him, her expression softer now. You are here because she believes a human can help her understand something our people cannot teach. She paused. You will meet her soon. Then you will understand. Eric felt a mixture of fear, curiosity, and something else. He couldn't name yet. Eric walked through the long metal hallway with slow steps. The Avelar guard guided him without speaking. The air felt cool and still. The walls gave off a soft blue light that made everything seem calm yet mysterious. Eric felt his heart beat heavy in his chest. He kept thinking about the words Cerise had told him. A child had asked for a human. A child he had never met. The guard stopped in front of a round door. The door opened with a gentle hum. Eric stepped inside the room. It looked very different from the other parts of the ship. The lights were warm. The room felt quiet and peaceful. A round table stood in the center. Soft seats were placed around it. The walls had small glowing lines like flowing rivers of light. It felt like a learning space. A place for young minds. Eric felt unsure. He looked around for any sign of the child he had been told about. The room seemed empty at first. Then he heard soft footsteps from the far side. A small figure stepped into view. She was a young Avelar girl. Her skin was a lighter shade of blue. Her hair was pale and soft like moonlight. Her eyes were large and silver. She held her hands together as if she was nervous. This must be Lyra. The child who had asked for a human. Eric gave a gentle wave. Hello, he said with a warm tone. Lyra did not reply. She only watched him with wide, curious eyes. A moment later, Cerise entered the room. She stood behind Lyra with a calm face. Her presence felt protective. She looked at Eric and spoke gently. This is Lyra. She's the one who asked for you. Eric nodded. He tried to smile. Hi Lyra, I am Eric. I want to help if I can. Lyra stayed silent. She looked at Eric as if she was trying to understand him. Her eyes moved from his face to his hands, then back to his face. She seemed unsure, almost afraid to speak. Cerise spoke softly. Lyra learns quickly, but she struggles with something deep inside her mind. She fears she cannot express herself. She believes only a human can. Show her a different way. Eric felt a strange pressure. Why did this young alien think he could help her? He sat down at the round table and opened a small book he had brought from Earth. It was simple, filled with drawings of animals and basic shapes. He placed it on the table. Eric pointed at the first picture. This is Earth, my home. Lyra moved closer. She looked at the picture with quiet interest. Her silver eyes followed the shape of the planet. She lifted her hand slowly. Her fingers touched the page. She pulled her hand back as if shocked by something new inside her heart. Eric turned the page. He showed a drawing of a tree. Where I come from, we have tall trees like this. They give shade. They give life. Lyra watched the drawing. Still no words, still no voice. But something changed in her eyes. Her eyes softened. Her shoulders relaxed a little. Eric drew a quick sketch on a blank page. A simple smiling face. He drew another one next to it. He pointed to the first one. This is me. He pointed to the second one. This is you. Lyra stared at the drawing. Her lips trembled. She looked up at Cerise for a brief second. Cerise kept her calm expression, but Eric could see a hint of hope in her eyes. Eric held out a simple pencil. Would you like to draw something too? Lyra looked at the pencil. She took it with a slow, careful motion. She placed the pencil on the page. For a moment it seemed like she would draw. But she stopped. Her hand shook. Her shoulders tightened again. She dropped the pencil. She stepped back. Her breath grew quick. As if something inside her mind overwhelmed her, Eric stayed calm. He raised his hand slightly to show he meant no harm. It is all right, Lyra. You are safe. Lyra whispered something. It was soft, almost too soft to hear. Eric leaned forward slightly. She said, "Why do humans care?" The question hit Eric like a wave. It was the first time she spoke. Her voice was small, fragile, filled with fear and confusion. Eric answered with his heart. "Because caring is how we understand each other. Because caring is how we grow. Because you asked for help, and I want to help." Lyra stared at him. Her eyes widened. Something inside her began to shift. Something new, something hopeful. Cerise watched the two of them. Her voice gentle. "This is good. She has spoken. A beginning has been made." Eric felt a small breath of relief. He did not know what journey lay ahead, but he knew one thing for sure. This first meeting had changed everything. The room fell into a quiet stillness after Lyra spoke her first gentle words. Eric felt a warm sense of hope building in his chest. He had not expected her to speak at all during their first meeting. Now he knew there was something deeper inside her, something fragile and hidden, something that needed trust. Cerise stepped away and stood near the glowing wall. She did not want to interrupt the moment. Her calm silver eyes watched Lyra with care. She had waited many long months for Lyra to say even a single word to anyone. Now she watched the human teacher with renewed interest. Could Eric do what no Avelar mentor had ever done? Lyra held the pencil again. Her hand shook just a little. She looked at Eric with soft fear. Eric gave her a slow nod. He hoped to show her that she did not need to rush. She did not need to fear mistakes. Humans made mistakes all the time. It was part of learning. But he used no fancy words, no heavy ideas. Only a simple look that said she was safe. Lyra placed the pencil on the page again. She made a tiny line, then she stopped. Her breath grew unsteady. She looked away as if she had done something wrong. Eric shook his head gently. "It is good," he said in a warm tone. "Every small step is good." Lyra took a step back. Her shoulders stiffened. Her eyes filled with worry. She looked like she was trapped by fears inside her mind. Eric wondered what her past had been like. What pain she had carried before this day. He could not ask yet. He did not want to push her too fast. Suddenly the ship gave a deep, heavy tremble. The entire floor shook under their feet. The lights flickered in sharp bursts. Lyra let out a small cry and covered her head. The pencil rolled across the table. Eric grabbed the table to keep his balance. A loud, deep voice echoed through the walls, warning, spatial instability ahead. All sectors remain alert. Eric felt his heartbeat speed up. He had never been inside an alien ship during danger. He had no idea what spatial instability meant. But the fear on Cerise's face told him it was serious. She stepped forward and looked at Lyra with strong protective focus. "Lyra, stay close," she said in a firm tone. Lyra moved to her side. She trembled like a frightened child, her eyes wide with panic. Eric could see tears gathering in her eyes. The ship shook again. Harder this time. The lights dimmed, then returned slowly. Eric did not know what to do. He was just a human teacher on an alien ship crossing something dangerous. But when he looked at Lyra, he felt a strong need to help. Even if he did not understand the danger, he understood fear. He had seen many frightened students before. He had been frightened before too. He moved toward her with slow steps. He made sure she could see his hands clearly so she would not feel threatened. "It is all right, Lyra," he said. "I am here. You are safe." Lyra looked at him with wet eyes. "Why is the ship shaking?" she asked with a small trembling voice. "I do not know," Eric answered with honesty. "But I trust the people who fly this ship. And I will stay right here with you." The ship trembled a third time. The lights flicked. Again, Lyra grabbed his sleeve without thinking. Her small hand held on tight. Eric did not pull away. He held still and steady like a calm anchor in a storm. Cerise watched the scene with surprise. Lyra had never reached for anyone like that before. She always pulled away from Avalar teachers and guardians. She built walls around her heart that no one could cross. Yet now she held on to the human. This meant something powerful. Something rare. After a long moment, the shaking slowed. The lights steadied. The deep hum of the ship returned to normal. A soft voice spoke through the wall again. Instability passed. All sectors secure. Lyra loosened her grip. She stepped back slowly. She wiped her tears with the back of her hand. Then she looked at Eric with wide eyes filled with new understanding. "You did not run," she whispered. "You did not leave me." Eric smiled softly. "No, I will not run from you, Lyra. I will not leave you." Lyra looked at the drawing on the table. She touched the small line she had made earlier. Her voice soft and honest. "I want to try again." Cerise felt something shift inside her. A new bond was forming. A bond between human and Avalar. A bond built on trust, not on fear. The test had come in the form of shaking walls and dark moments. And Eric had passed without even knowing it. Lyra had seen him stand firm in danger. She had seen him stay calm. She had felt his care. Now a fragile seed of trust had taken root inside her. This moment marked the true beginning of their journey. A journey that would soon reveal secrets far deeper than Eric imagined. The room grew quiet again after the shaking faded away. The lights returned to a steady soft glow that filled the learning chamber with a gentle warmth. Eric stood still for a moment as he looked at Lyra. She had taken a brave step when she reached for him during the chaos. Her eyes now held a new spark. A new trust that felt soft but real. Cerise watched both of them with a calm, steady gaze. She understood something important had changed in this moment. Something deeper than a simple lesson. Eric moved back toward the table where the small drawing lay. The simple line Lyra had made still sat on the page. He picked up the pencil and placed it gently near her again. Lyra stood close to Cerise. Her breaths were soft and slow. Her young mind was still settling after the fear she felt earlier. Eric spoke in a warm voice that carried no pressure. "You did well today, Lyra," he said. "Better than you think, Lyra." Look down at her feet. She shifted slightly. She seemed unsure how to accept praise. Eric understood this feeling. Many children carried fears they never spoke. Fears that grew because no one showed them another path. Eric decided to try something simple, something human, something honest. He sat down slowly and opened the book again. He flipped to a blank page. He held up the pencil and smiled at her. "Can I draw something for you, Lyra?" he asked in a gentle tone. Lyra hesitated, then gave a small nod. She stepped a little closer to the table. Cerise remained behind her like a shield of quiet support. Eric began to draw a scene from Earth. He made a round sun and waves that rose like gentle hills. He drew a small tree on the side of the page. He kept his motion slow so she could follow every movement. "This is a place I liked as a child," he said. "It was peaceful. I felt safe there." The world felt big but also beautiful. Lyra watched him with wide, curious eyes. Her breathing steadied as she focused on the drawing. She looked like she was seeing something new, something she could not find in Avalar teachings. Eric finished the drawing and placed the pencil down. Lyra stepped forward and touched the picture with her fingers. She traced the sun. She touched the waves. She followed the shape of the tree. Her voice came out low and soft. "It feels alive." Eric smiled with warmth. "Drawings can show feelings, Lyra," he said. "Not just shapes. That is why humans like stories and pictures. They help us share what is inside our hearts." Lyra looked up with a surprised look. Her eyes shimmered as if she discovered a new truth. She spoke again in a tiny voice. "We are not taught feelings like this." Cerise lowered her head a little. She spoke with honesty. "Our teachings focus on logic and duty. Emotion is hard for our people. It brings confusion. It brings fear." Lyra turned her head toward Cerise. then back to Eric. She placed her hand over the drawing again. "Is it wrong to feel something strong inside?" she asked. Eric shook his head slowly. "No, Lyra," he said with full sincerity. "Feeling something strong means you are alive. It means you are learning to understand yourself. It is not wrong. It is human, and it is beautiful." Lyra stood silent. Her eyes softened. A small light flickered in them. A light that had not been there before. She picked up the pencil with slow, gentle hands. She placed it on the page. She made another small line next to the first one. Then she drew a tiny circle. It was uneven and shaky, but it was there. She lifted her head. "This is me," she whispered. Eric felt a warm wave inside his heart. He nodded with pride. "It is perfect, Lyra. You did it." Cerise stepped closer. She placed a gentle hand on Lyra's shoulder. Her face held calm pride. "You have taken another step, Lyra. A brave step." Lyra looked up at the two people standing with her. She felt a strange warmth inside her chest. It felt new. It felt strong. She touched the drawing again. "I want to learn more," she said, in a fragile yet determined voice. "I want to understand why humans care, why humans feel so much, why it makes them stronger, not weaker." Eric understood that this moment was the true breaking of the ice. Lyra was not only speaking now, she was opening herself. She was choosing to trust him. She was choosing to learn from him. Not because she was told to, but because she wanted to. Cerise nodded at Eric with deep respect. "She will follow you now." Cerise said, "Your way of teaching has reached her in ways we could not." Eric felt a new responsibility settle on his shoulders. This was more than a simple lesson, more than a drawing, more than a quiet conversation. This was the start of a bond across species and worlds, a bond that might change everything. Lyra looked at him with hope in her silver eyes. "Will you teach me again tomorrow?" she asked. Eric gave her a warm, gentle smile. "Yes, Lyra, I will be here. And we will learn together." Lyra nodded. The first true smile touched her lips. A small, delicate smile filled with hope. The ice around her heart had cracked, and something bright was beginning to shine through. The next day arrived with a soft glow inside the HFY Starship. Gentle blue light washed across the learning room and made it feel warm and calm. Eric stepped inside with slow steps. He held a small notebook in his hand. He hoped Lyra would be ready for another lesson. He hoped the fragile trust they built would grow stronger. His heart carried a quiet hope that today would be different in a good way. When he looked around the room, he saw Cerise standing near the wall. Lyra sat at the round table waiting with bright silver eyes. Lyra rose to her feet as Eric entered. Her movements held less fear today. She walked toward him with soft steps. Her voice came out steady and clear. "I want to learn today." Her words felt like a warm light inside the room. Eric gave a gentle smile. He took a seat and placed his notebook on the table. Lyra sat across from him. Cerise watched with quiet pride. Eric opened the notebook. Inside were simple drawings of Earth and nature and emotions. He pointed at a picture of a mountain. "This is a mountain, Lyra. Humans climb mountains to challenge their limits. It helps them discover strength inside themselves." Lyra studied the picture. Her eyes narrowed as if she was trying to understand the feeling behind it. "Does it hurt to climb a mountain?" "Sometimes it does," Eric answered. "But people climb anyway because the feeling at the top makes the hard path worth it." Lyra ran her fingers along the drawing. "So pain does not stop humans?" Eric nodded lightly. "No, pain teaches us. It shows us how strong we can be." Lyra looked thoughtful. She touched her chest gently. "I feel something inside when you speak about this. Something warm and heavy at the same time." Eric nodded again. "That feeling is called inspiration. It is what pushes humans to keep going, even when things are hard." Lyra whispered the word slowly as if tasting it. "Inspiration." Cerise stepped closer. Inspiration is rare in HFY teaching Lyra. We value order and logic. Feelings like this are often hidden. But perhaps we have been hiding too much. Lyra turned to Eric again. Teach me another feeling, Eric. Flip to a new page. It showed two hands holding each other. This is comfort, he said. Humans give comfort when someone feels scared or alone. Comfort tells a person they are not facing the world by themselves. Lyra stared at the drawing for a long moment. Then she held her own hands together. I felt comfort yesterday when the ship shook and you did not run away. Eric felt a tightness in his chest. Her honesty showed how deep her fear had been. I stayed because you needed someone calm. And you reached for me because you trusted me. That is how comfort works, Lyra. It is a bridge between hearts. Lyra traced the drawing again. Her voice came soft and gentle. I like this feeling, Eric smiled warmly. I am glad. He flipped the page again. This time he showed a simple drawing of a heart with light around it. This is hope, he said. Hope keeps humans moving forward even when they cannot see the end of the path. Lyra looked at the drawing with wide, wondering eyes. Hope is strong. I can feel it too. It makes my chest feel bigger and warm. Eric felt joy rise inside him. Lyra was learning quickly. Not just information, but emotion. She was discovering pieces of herself that had been locked away. Cerise observed with deep interest. You teach her things our people have avoided for generations, she said. Maybe we have feared emotion too much. Lyra turned towards Cerise and spoke softly. I do not want to fear anymore. I want to feel. I want to understand myself. Eric. Open to a blank page. Then let us draw something together today, he said. Lyra took the pencil. Her hand was steadier than before. She drew a small figure. Then she added another figure next to it. She placed a line between them representing a connection. She looked up at Eric. This is you and me learning together. Eric felt his heart warm. It is beautiful, Lyra. Lyra continued drawing. She added small stars above the figures. These stars are the things I want to learn, she said. Feelings. Courage, hope, inspiration. Eric leaned back slightly. You have already begun that journey, Lyra. Every new feeling you explore makes you stronger. Lyra nodded proudly. I feel stronger now. I feel like I can face more things. Cerise stepped forward and placed a gentle hand on Lyra's shoulder. You are growing faster than we expected. Your progress brings honor to our people. Lyra looked at Eric again. Teach me more tomorrow. Teach me everything you can. Eric smiled with calm warmth. I will, Lyra. We will keep learning step by step. As Lyra looked at her drawing, she felt something bright inside her, something she had never felt before. Something that felt like a rising sun inside her heart, that the lessons had begun to open a new world for her. A world filled with emotions and strength and connection. A world that belonged not only to humans, but to anyone willing to feel and learn. And this world was changing her more deeply than she understood. The next few days moved in a gentle rhythm inside the great HFY Starship. Each day, Eric arrived in the learning room and found Lyra waiting for him with bright eyes full of hope. She asked questions about Earth and about human stories. She asked why humans cry and why they laugh. She asked why humans fear the dark yet still walk into it. Every lesson felt like watching a flower open petal by petal. Even Cerise felt a warm pride rise inside her as she watched them learn together. But under that warm peace there was something else. Something hidden. Something heavy in the heart of the starship. Eric could feel it sometimes when the hallways grew too quiet. He could sense it in the way some HFY guards looked at the walls with worry. Even Cerise sometimes paused as if listening to a distant whisper, but no one explained anything to him. No one gave him answers. Not yet. On the seventh day of teaching, Eric entered the learning room and found Lyra sitting with her hands wrapped around a small glowing crystal. Her eyes looked tired as if she had not slept well. Cerise stood behind her with her arms crossed over her chest. For the first time, Eric saw real tension in her posture. Lyra lifted her head slowly as he approached. "Eric," she said with soft voice, "can I ask you something important today?" Eric took a seat. "Of course, Lyra. You can ask anything." Lyra placed the glowing crystal on the table. "Do humans ever feel lost inside themselves?" Eric nodded with a calm, steady expression. "Yes, Lyra, many times. Humans feel lost when they face something too big or too unknown." Lyra nodded slowly as if she needed to confirm something inside her own thoughts. She looked at Cerise. Cerise gave her a small nod that meant she could continue. "There is something happening on this ship," Lyra said. "Something the adults do not speak about, but I can feel it. It is like a storm behind a wall. It makes my heart heavy. It makes me afraid even when nothing moves." Eric looked at Cerise with concern. Is something wrong with the ship?" Cerise lowered her eyes. "You deserve truth now, Eric. Lyra also deserves it. We have held this from you both for too long." She stepped closer to the table. Her voice grew serious. "Our starship is traveling toward unstable space, a region that bends energy and thought. It affects our minds in dangerous ways. It grows stronger the closer we move." Eric felt a cold weight settle in his chest. "Why are you going there?" Cerise took a slow breath. "Because our council believes we must study this region. It may hold rare knowledge that could help our species. But the price is great. Many of our minds cannot hold steady near such unstable space. It brings confusion, fear, loss of control." Lyra pressed her hands to her chest. "I feel it already. Sometimes at night I hear sounds inside my mind. They are not real, but they feel real. They frighten me. They make me think I am weak." Eric leaned forward. "You are not weak, Lyra. You are brave to say this out loud." Cerise spoke again, with a firm but worried tone. "You must understand something, Eric. Lyra is not only a child. She holds a special gift. Her mind is more sensitive than ours. She sees patterns others cannot. The council believes she might one day guide our people through dangers like this. But she must learn to control her emotions and fears." Eric frowned slightly. "So these lessons are not only about understanding feelings. They are about preparing her for something much bigger." Cerise nodded. "Yes, Lyra must learn how to balance emotion and logic before the unstable space grows stronger. If she fails, her mind may break under the weight of it." Lyra looked at her hands with trembling fear. "I do not want my mind to break. I want to be strong. I want to help my people. But this fear grows inside me. It feels like a shadow that follows me, even when I look toward the light." Eric reached out and placed his hand gently near hers. "Fear grows in silence, Lyra. But when you speak it and face it step by step, it becomes smaller. You are not alone in this. I will help you. Cerise will help you. You do not have to face the darkness by yourself." Lyra lifted her head. Her silver eyes shone with tears she tried to hold back. "I feel safe when you speak, Eric, but the fear still waits inside me. What if I cannot control it?" Eric shook his head slowly. "You can. Because you are learning faster than anyone I have ever seen. Every emotion you understand, every feeling you face, becomes a tool. A shield, a strength." Cerise stepped closer. "There is more, Eric. The unstable space grows stronger each day. Soon the ship will enter the deepest part of it. At that point, Lyra gift may either save us or doom us. She needs your human ways. She needs the emotional strength humans are known for." Lyra placed the glowing crystal in Eric's hands. "This crystal shows my inner thoughts. If it glows bright, it means my emotions are too strong. If it dims, it means I am in control." Yesterday, it glowed brighter than ever. Eric looked at the crystal. The soft light pulsed like a struggling heartbeat. He felt the weight of it. He felt the weight of her. He felt the weight of the entire Avalar ship. A child looking to him, a guardian trusting him, a starship moving toward danger. Eric understood the truth. This was no simple teaching job. This was a mission that could change the fate of an entire species. The learning room was quiet as Eric held the glowing crystal in his hands. Its soft light rose and fell like a living heartbeat. Lyra stood beside him with worried eyes. Cerise stood behind her with a protective presence. The weight of everything that had been revealed pressed down on all three of them. The unstable space was drawing near. Lyra's gift was growing stronger. And Eric had become the bridge they all needed. Eric placed the crystal on the table. Lyra, he said in a calm, steady voice, you are not facing this path alone. I am here. I will help you learn how to steady your heart and your mind. Lyra looked at the crystal as if it were a mirror into her own fear. I want to be strong, Eric. But sometimes the fear feels bigger than me. It feels like a tide pulling me away from myself. Eric knelt beside her and gave a warm, soft smile. Fear feels big, Lyra, but you are growing bigger too. Every time you face your feelings, you grow stronger. You have already changed so much. You have taken steps your own people could not take. Lyra's eyes shimmered with a quiet light. Do you truly believe I can do this? Yes, Eric said, because you have shown courage in every lesson. You have felt sadness and hope and inspiration. You have faced fear and spoken about it. These are strengths no unstable space can break. Cerise stepped closer. Lyra, you have done what no Avalar child has ever done. You have opened your heart to another species. That alone is a great act of courage. Lyra placed her hands together. I feel something inside again. But this time it is not fear. It feels like a rising flame. Like something telling me to keep going. Eric nodded. That feeling is determination. Hold it close. Use it as your light. The ship gave a low, distant hum. The walls glowed with shifting blue rings. It felt like the vessel was passing into a deeper region of the unstable space. Cerise looked toward the door with concern. We have entered the first layer, she said. Lyra must learn control quickly. We do not have much time. Lyra took a deep breath and placed her hand on the glowing crystal. The light inside reacted immediately. It flickered, it brightened, it dimmed. Her emotions were swirling like a storm inside her. Eric placed his hand lightly over hers. Focus on one feeling, Lyra. Choose hope. Let everything else quiet itself. Lyra closed her eyes. She breathed slow and steady. I see darkness, Eric. But I also see a small spark. Follow the spark, Eric whispered. That spark is you. The crystal glowed brighter for a moment, then softened. The light became gentle and steady like a calm river. Lyra opened her eyes. Her breathing slowed. Cerise looked at the crystal in quiet awe. She did it, Cerise said. She steadied her mind faster than ever before. Lyra looked up at Eric with a proud, small smile. I felt the fear. I saw it, but I did not let it control me. Your voice helped me find the spark. Eric felt warmth in his chest. You did the real work, Lyra. You made the choice to face it. The ship trembled lightly. Not from danger, but from shifting energy around them. Cerise stepped toward the door. The deeper zone awaits. The Council believes this final layer holds answers we have sought for centuries, but it is also the most dangerous part. Many Avalar minds can collapse here. Lyra must guide us through. Lyra took a step back. I must guide the ship. But I am only a child. Cerise knelt beside her. You are more than a child, Lyra. You were born with a gift, but a gift needs training. And Eric has given you what our people could not. Lyra turned to Eric with worry and hope mixed together. Will you stay with me while I try to guide us? Eric placed a hand on her shoulder. I will stay right here. I will not leave. We will do this together, Lyra nodded. Then I am ready. They walked together into the navigation chamber. It was wide and bright with shifting lights across the curved walls. A large sphere of energy hovered in the center of the room. It displayed swirling patterns of the unstable space around the ship. The patterns twisted like fog mixed with lightning. Many Avelar officers stood around the room. Their eyes turned toward Lyra with hope and fear. Cerise led Lyra to the center of the chamber. This is where you must stand. The ship will respond to your mind and your emotion. If your heart stays calm, the ship will follow your path safely. Lyra looked at Eric. Speak to me while I do this. Your voice helps quiet the shadows inside my mind. Eric nodded and stepped beside her. I am here. Let us face this together. Lyra placed her hands on the glowing sphere. The unstable space pulsed around the ship. The crystal in the learning room began to glow from a distance. Her emotions rose. Fear, hope, pressure, light, darkness. It all swirled inside her. Eric spoke softly. Remember what you learned. Your feelings are not enemies. They are guides. Let hope be your compass. Lyra breathed deeply. Slowly, her eyes glowed with silver light. The sphere shifted. The patterns around the ship began to settle. The unstable energy bent away like waves moving aside for a rising sun. Officers gasped as the ship steadied. Cerise's eyes filled with pride. Lyra's voice came soft but strong. I see the path. I will guide us through, and with Eric at her side. Lyra led the starship safely through the heart of the unstable space. A child who learned from a human. A teacher who found strength in kindness. And a bond that changed the future of two worlds.